big whole stunt and they go up in the whirlwind. You know, it's so many details within the myth. Now back to Chaldea, we had a language that we were able to communicate with everyone within the Iberian Peninsula, everywhere within the Mediterranean, everywhere between what is Europe and North Africa, that whole trade route where all the wealth was at, and then spanning all the way around the globe, all the way to what is considered the U.S. or called Turtle Island by the ancient Olmec, ancient Olmecs and Aztecs. They used to call the U.S. proper, whatever, Turtle Island. So we had a communication between all these people because we had codified language. We codified language and placed language and quantified a whole gambit of sounds within 22 sounds specifically, right? The language that it's called when the archaeologists found it was called Linear B. So they call it Linear B. It goes from like the same way we go A B C D E F G H I J. They found similarities in Hebrew with the Linear B, right? Now what happens is they took 22 sounds out of all of the sounds, because you gotta, to speak cuneiform, you had to know at least 6,000 signs, symbols, just to be able to write a coherent word. So imagine if you and I, because when you hear the word Moor, you hear the word merchant. Moor means merchant. Moor means marine. It means water. Moor means love. Everybody loved us when they seen us coming. Amore. You know, the color black was synonymous with Moors. Moors. So now, when we came, we had to, and they loved us because we could speak their language. We knew every language on the planet because we had a whole gambit of sounds based off of the people who taught us how to speak. Kemet proper was the localized region for the institutionalization of Lower Kushite Ethiopian science, Nubia. The little short pyramid spots was where the true genius, where all the warriors was at. The darker the Egyptians, the more intelligent, the more intellectually inclined he was, the more brave. You know what I'm saying? Because we established the monarchy and placed the monarchy in Kemet as a fiction. We create the monarchy. Monarchies is really created by you creating a subgroup below you. Because the monarchy have to be ordained by priesthood. The priesthood sets up the monarchy. Because the priesthood is the conduit between God and the world. See? So the priesthood was the ones that told them, let's make up a fake society. The priesthood was the scientist too. Because to be a priest, you had to be a scientist as well. And the lab is no further than the womb of the black woman. So we created beings, set up monarchy, set on them, right? Set them on the monarchy, and we controlled them with words, with language. You heard? With language. So we took a vast use of language, codified it in 22 letters, and then disseminated the 22 letters in all of our business affairs to all the people that we dealt with. We made them all share our language. Aleph, Beth, Gimel, Daleth, He, Val, Zayn, Kef, Tef, yeah, all that. From the Arabic to the Hebrew, all of that. All of it comes from the word alphabet, comes from Aleph, Bet. The two first letters in Hebrew, which go into Phoenician, Canaanite, Phoenician, and all that. So when you hear the term Cain, I think a lot of people get confused about the term. When people hear, sometimes when people was hearing Canaanite, they was thinking Caucasian. The Canaanites ain't Caucasians. Abel means Hamel. Hamel means airy, like I can't touch it. Cain means metal. Moor Metaphysics, Chaldean Phoenician metaphysics, entailed you being able to address and understand the seen and the unseen. The first two children born, one was seen and one was unseen. They set up the curse in the beginning. See, 7 is synonymous with the curse. 7 is our number because incarnate beings were malefically viewed. The original entities of materialized being were initially looked at as being malefic.
For sure.
The second order entities don't like their fathers because they like, you made us so we could participate in this bullshit. See? That's why Agent Smith, right? Agent Smith is like kind of like in the Shemsu Heru, who are the worksmen of Heru, who do his work, were blacksmiths. So Agent Smith and them was coming to a blacksmith. In order for him to create something, he got to destroy it too. He destroys metal to establish and create shape and form. So only a smith can come and destroy something. You understand? Or build and destroy. You know what I'm saying? So, saying all this to say that blackness was always synonymous. That's why Agent Smith in the first movie had to go to speak to and air out his differences with Morpheus. Like, I can't stand this world. I hate this place. I can't wait till it's over. You know? I used to be like, Morpheus. We meet again. See? And he wasn't a bad guy, Agent Smith. Agent Smith just wants to destroy the physical paradigm. So we go into Gnostic scriptures. The Gnostic scriptures, they found them at the Nag Hammadi library. There was found in 13 codices in Kemet. They should just name them shits the Egyptian Gnostic scriptures, because that is the foundation for Christianity, and it is also the foundation for every other approach to duplicity. So these Gnostic scriptures got imported into the spiritual systems of what people know as Zoroastrianism, which has a thread within Islam, which has a thread within the Iranian and Persian systems of duplicity, always speaking about the opposites of a thing. Right? And then when you get into how you learn your doctrine, you learn your doctrine from your teacher. So then you have in the Persians, you have with Rumi, you have the loved and the beloved. You know what I'm saying? And then when you hear the music of Yemen, you hear the music of the Middle East, it's love songs of men singing about men. No homo, no gay connotations, but it's the camaraderie, the Habibi, and you all who've been to Africa or got Africans, you see African men hold hands. So the doctrine of these gentlemen were of warfare. These men were warriors. The Habibi were the collective. Can you pause it for a second? Now,
it's good. It's good.
So now it's how auspicious that when we take in full consideration that nothing is random, our ancient ancestors even placed themselves in the future by putting themselves within the language structure of how we communicate with one another. You be thinking that you saying something new or saying something fancy or slick, but the ancestors have made it so they could be here now, because the most important time to be in existence is now. Now, all of the duplicity that we taught them in our Zoroastrianism and what became Iranian duplicity and all that, now they've taken that whole science of taking two things which are of opposition, right, and making the populace choose a side. There's no longer the concept, no idea of being able to be an individual, be individualized per se. You know what I'm saying? They made it where they want you to pick a side. You know what I'm saying? They want you to pick a side. Like you got to be this or you got to be that to function within our paradigm.
Divide and conquer.
Exactly, but we created this as man management. We created duplicity for the psyche, for it to be able to find its inroad in the middle. What happens is with the Caucasian, he has no ability to see a realm opposite of his physical realm. It takes him 35 to 50 years to study at the feet of the masters to understand what it is to be spirit. To understand what spirit is. It's huge for him. You understand what I'm saying? So what he does is he creates this whole artificial reality where he can't see a cohesive whole within the melding or the knowledge that this side and this side can meld without it being an aberration. He tries to mix the male and the female principle in aberrant forms. He tries to do it with the physical world. See? The physical world already has the templates for it to endure